We're telling personal stories of military service, the kinds of stories you may have heard on your grandfather's back porch growing up, stories we don't hear enough of these days. This year we had the honor of meeting a number of veterans like Norman Barnard from Cleveland. He fought in Africa, in Europe, in World War II.
I was 24 years old and engaged to get married when I was drafted.
It was 1941, before the attack on Pearl Harbor. He trained with the Army Air Corps, then he was on his way to fight in the North African campaign of World War II.
I went in 41. This was in 42.
He was a flight engineer on the brand new B-26.
You watched your instruments on signal from him on takeoff. You pull the landing gear up. You didn't put it down. The co-pilot put it down because he didn't have as much doing landing as he did taking off. Any mechanical work, and you was also the waist gunner.
He flew 17 submarine patrol missions, 7 combat missions over North Africa, and when he wasn't flying the plane, he was working on the planes. After those missions, he was moved up to crew chief and spent the rest of the war on the ground.
Crew chief was in charge of all mechanical work on that plane. Anything was done, he was responsible for it.
Norman said one of his buddies had a camera, and their families would send them film, so he took a lot of pictures over those years.
That was when we got the presidential citation.
The pictures and memories remain, but only one of those friends is still living. But they were all with him when they left Africa and later went to Italy.
Then when they invaded France, we come into France.
He was in a couple of other places in between.
So this is right before you guys went into Germany, right?
Yeah.
They were in Nuremberg as the war in Europe was ending in 1945. By then, he'd seen more than 3 years of fighting.
War is hell. That's all there is to it.
Mr. Barnard, just one of the many stories we had the honor of telling over the past year. The difficult part is when we lose these heroes, and we lost a few over the last year, including World War II veterans Charlie Kyle, Jack Rothson, M.D. Schubert, and Jesse James Henderson. We've told his story several times on The Price of Freedom. He was a Montford Point Marine, the first African Americans in the Marine Corps in World War II. Now in September, we told you that Mr. Allen Crawford passed away. He fought in World War II, and after the war, he was an FBI agent. But just like so many of these heroes, it's not the things they did, but the lives they touched along the way. Amalia Crawford's husband, Allen, passed away in late September. She told me she received about 50 emails and letters from people who knew Allen during his 93 years of life.
Always a positive mental attitude, an exemplar of honesty and integrity, Allen could always be relied upon for the sanctity of his pledge.
She put together this book for a celebration of life ceremony. There are letters in here from childhood friends.
Al and Den were the best of friends, more like brothers, from their early teens through high school and beyond. Al was a big, handsome boy, the target of many admiring girls.
There are emails from people who worked with Allen Crawford.
In December 1978, I first met Al at the basement of the old Federal Building in Miami.
His story is fascinating. He met his wife Amalia in Florida, and they were married for 28 years. At that time, he was investigating Medicare and Medicaid fraud and home health care. But before all of that, he was a bombardier and a navigator for 35 combat missions over Europe in 1944 and 1945. He came home, graduated from college. He worked for the FBI for 6 years. This is him with J. Edgar Hoover. After that, he had a private security business and worked for Playboy Enterprises. This is a photo from him the day we met just a few weeks before he passed away. He had an impact on pretty much everyone he met. According to the World War II Museum, we lose 362 World War II veterans every day. If there's a veteran in your family, we would love to hear from you. Email me at jrowe@newschannel9.com.